Hi, this is Don Schaefer with you once again. We are on a journey here together, trying to achieve some great understanding and develop something in our lives that's bigger than us. And that's where I'm excited about this week's lesson. And I know last week we talked a little bit about the potential that's within us. We fail to realize sometimes how wonderfully we were made and how our Creator has given us the ability to achieve many things. And the title of this whole series is Creating Your Future, which is all about the fact that we basically create the life that we want to live, the life that we can have. And so many times in life, people just live life. They don't just create the things that they want in life. What we're trying to do is give an understanding, better understanding for people to really grasp areas of life. And this week is an exciting lesson. I'm excited to get into it. And the title of it is Knowing and Getting What You Want. Knowing and getting what you want. And that's where success is all about having goals in your life. And without setting different areas of life and plans in your life to be successful, to create something in life, you'll never achieve it. And I know in teaching all this here, this is a little selfish of me, because I remember a long time ago, back in the 1980s, I heard Zig Ziglar say, you can get everything you want out of life by helping others get what they want. And that's where I am diligently trying to help you and others to achieve things in life, because I know they're there. And I realize by doing that, I'm helping myself to achieve areas of life. And so hopefully you can stick with me on this. There's going to be a series. This is just week 4 of a series, but we're going to have try to build something here, building an understanding and helping you to develop everything you can. And I'm a firm believer that there is no coincidences in life, that there's a purpose behind every area of life, and that there's a purpose right now for you listening to this. And hopefully we can deliver something for you that will give you something to look at, something to think about, something to maybe cause change in your life. And all of us in life, I believe, need to be in a position where we're continually adding value to our lives. And that's where people a lot of times get stuck. They realize they get to a point in life where they feel like they've achieved all the value that they possibly can have in life, and they quit trying to add value. That life becomes very boring, and that's where a lot of times people end up in life dying well before they're placed in the ground, because they've allowed their life to die. And we don't want any part of that. We want to be a part of life where we are constantly creating something in life. So with that, I'm going to get right into this week's lesson. Again, the title is Knowing and Getting What You Want. And I pulled out the scripture in James chapter 2 and verse 18. It says, but someone will say, you have faith, I have deeds. Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by what I do. And that's so true. I always tell people that faith is an action word. You know, it isn't something, a lot of times you ask people, do you have faith? And you get a whole bunch of hands going up and saying, yeah, I got faith. But you know, what James is saying here is the only way you're going to see faith is in actions and the things you do. It's the deeds. You have faith. Faith is faith in yourself. A lot of times people say, do you believe in Jesus Christ? As an example, they'll say, yes. Well, you know, that's great. But to have true faith, you not only have to believe in Jesus Christ, but you have to believe in what's been created inside you, that there is a wonderfulness and a purpose for you in life, and you need to develop that. And we're hoping that we can become the most valuable people in the world as we allow ourselves to grow in value. And I have a quote here by Carrie Randall. It says, contrary to popular opinion, life does not get better by chance. Life gets better by change. Right, we are in a process of change. It doesn't, when we are first born into this world, it's constant change. We're getting bigger and bigger and bigger in size. But then we reach a certain point in life and we start to continually change. And it should be changing for the better and continuing to grow. I know I read an article just this past week, and I don't know how true all this is, but the article said that, you know, in a process of about a year or so, that every cell in our body is replaced. that we are continually getting rid of old cells and new cells are coming in. And it matters so much in how we exercise, in what we eat, as far as the development of the new us. And a lot of times people, they don't eat right and they don't exercise and stuff. So what they obtain as life goes on is not what they want. And it was an interesting article. I don't know how true it is, but it makes me think, it makes me want to do things. But we're going to get into a series right now. We're going to get into some points I'm going to share with you. And the first point is, your current situation is exactly what you need. Your current situation is exactly what you need. Every part of your life is exactly as it should be. Difficult situations can be turned into the life that you want for yourself. So, we right now, and so many times people say, well, you don't understand, Don. You don't understand the life I'm in right now. Well, I always tell them that what they're in is exactly where they need to be. And where you are at right now is exactly where you need to be at. All your past, the things that have happened to you, they've been the groundworks of something great. What matters is what we do today and what we do in our future and how we create that. I had an interesting story told me a while back. It was about a farmer. And the farmer had a son, and the son was riding a horse one day, and the horse threw his son, and the son broke his leg. And so this was a tragedy, for the father. His son broke his leg, but the horse ran away. So not only did his son break his leg, but the horse ran away. Well, it was just the next day that the country they were in, this was in Europe, the country they were in, the military came in, they were looking for able-bodied men. And his son had a broken leg, so he couldn't go with him. So the father looked at that and said, this is interesting. Because his son could have been out to war and could have lost his life in war, but he couldn't because he had a broken leg. Well, it wasn't but the day after they were out looking for horses. This is back in the days when they used horses. Well, his horse ran away, so he had no problems. His son didn't have to go to war, and the horse ran away. And within a period of time, the war ended, the son's leg mended, and the horse came back. So he had everything back again. So in the beginning, he looked at this and he said, this is terrible. My son breaks his leg and my horse runs away. But a lot of situations in life are just that. They look terrible, but they're really not. They were there for a purpose and a reason. It's just up to us to look for that. And that's where in life is all about a becoming. It's what we become. We go to our job, we work our job. We shouldn't be just looking at the job and saying, oh boy, I don't like all that. It's what I'm becoming. It's what I'm making of myself. It's in every area that we're involved in right now. It's what we become. At the end of our life, it's who we became. And that's where we have to continue to grow. And we need to continue to create something that in our life that's going to be beautiful at the end. We need to continue to create value. I know a lot of times you look at situations where you got people that are employed in a business, and one person, as an example, makes $1,000 and the other person makes $2,000. Okay, why is one person making $1,000, one making $2,000, when possibly they came from the same school, they live in the same area, they drive the same roads, they watch the same type of TV, but one has made twice as much as the other? Well, it's about the value you build in your life. You build value. You don't just sit there and allow things to happen. You find ways to add to your life, ways to develop value by reading, by putting effort in what you do, by your excitement. A lot of principles of this. By your excitement, by your enthusiasm, by your eagerness, by your consistency. All of this, what it does, by your discipline, all of this, what it does, it builds value inside of you. And so many times people fail to realize that, and they fail to achieve the areas of life that they could have. Well, the second point I have here, if you could do anything you wanted, what would it be? If you could do anything you wanted, what would it be? Knowing what you want and using your current life as a springboard rather than just sitting there. Sometimes you learn the right course but follow the wrong course temporarily. See, and that's where in life a lot of times people really don't know what they want. I want things good. I know I want things good. I want things to be pleasant. I want things to be comfortable. But what do I really want? I know I had a class, this is some time ago. See, I teach a class at home. For some of my classes are taught at home because we've got a beautiful home, 1,600 square feet, cathedral ceilings, fireplace. Shirley's got it decorated beautifully. Beautiful home. So I bring people in and I teach classes sometimes right at home. I teach Sunday school. I teach a Sunday school class to my grandchildren and my son and my daughter. But we've got a beautiful home. But in saying that, I was teaching a class and all of a sudden a light bulb went into my head. You know, I'm teaching this very same class. And I says, just a second. I says, I got the most important sheet of paper that you'll probably ever have. And so they all looked at each other. I ran down the basement and I grabbed some blank sheets of paper and I ran upstairs and I handed them all out, and they're all looking at the sheet of paper and they say, well, what's so important about this? Just a blank sheet of paper. I said, I want you to write on the top of this sheet, what do you want? And that's where I encourage you to do the same thing. If you can get a sheet of paper, write on the top of it, what do you want? And then find a period of time to sit down and really, quiet time, and really in your mind say, what do I really want in life? Because so many times people will live life and all of a sudden they look, I really didn't want this. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. What do I really want in life? Without knowing what you want, it is hard to live life. You're just allowing things to happen and just rolling the dice on life and hoping it lands on good numbers. We need to be able to identify what we want in life. And so therefore, every day when we wake up, we know what we want, we know what we're going after, because we know what we want. So knowing what you want matters in our life. And what matters in life, I want to add this too. Knowing what we want is great, but what really matters in life, being able to write down things that not only are things that we want, but do they matter? So many times people too will want certain things and achieve something in life, and they'll look at it and say, well, what did this really matter? I reach a certain point in life, I look back, I've wanted this all this time, but now maybe I've achieved it, but what did it really matter? Did it really add anything to my life? Did it fulfill anything in my life? These are things we need to question ourselves on. Next point, next point, does not matter where you came from, only matters where you're going. Does not matter where you came from, only matters where you're going. The past is dead and cannot be changed. All that matters right now is where you're going. So it doesn't matter. Again, we talked a little bit about this already. It doesn't really matter where we came from. It doesn't matter how rough life might have been. It doesn't matter how bad situations might be. The only thing that matters is where I'm going to. The only thing that matters is if I'm creating meaning and value to my life. I want to be the $2,000 worker. I want to be able to create meaning and value to my life in whatever area. I want to be able to be in a position where I can help you get what you want in life. And if I can do that, I am helping myself create meaning and value in my life. Whatever your purpose is in life, whatever you're going after, whatever opportunity you can use to create meaning and value is very important to you. Whether it be if you've got something that really matters, something that you really want, I would strongly suggest getting a book on that or finding people who are doing exactly what you really want and what really matters in your life, and try to add as much value and understanding of that particular area in your life. Because when it's all done, it doesn't matter where we came from. It's what matters is how we finished the race, how we finished that which we've started out to do. And a lot of times, as we mentioned earlier, our past can be just terrible, but we can use it for good. If we don't sit there all day and just think about how bad things were and say there's no hope for the future, there's big hope for the future. We just need to get rid of some of that past and get on with creating a future for ourselves. Okay, next point I have is any thought that you can emotionalize is going to pass from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. I'm going to repeat that. Any thought that you can emotionalize is going to pass from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. But by putting emotion into what you want, where you want to go, and it activates something inside of you. And that's where, when we can emotionalize areas of our life and get excited. Myself, I love hearing things that get me excited and affect my emotions and say, you know what, that's what I want. That's what I want to obtain. I know a lot of times I listen to speakers. I listen to people present different things, and I will look at them and I'll create emotion inside. I love what this guy is portraying here, what this guy is trying to show here. If there's something I can put that inside me, it just creates something. And the beautiful thing is when we can emotionalize things, not only in our conscious mind, our subconscious mind starts to work on it. It starts to make these things start to happen. And all of a sudden, there's certain things that get attracted to us that help us in our path and our course, because we've got emotion. This is what I want. And you can see it in people. Some people, this is what they want, whatever. You can look at them and you can say, yeah, I don't know if you really want that. You don't show me anything that really shows that. But somebody who is very emotional about stuff, I say, yes, this person's going after something. I'm excited for you. Keep going after it. You bring cheerleaders into your life saying, yeah, Don, keep going after this here, because I can see the emotion that you're putting into it. Very important. Okay, next point I have is getting yourself into a zone and start seeing things happen. Getting yourself into a zone and start seeing things happen. A mental state where you feel and perform at your best. Your desires and thoughts become clear, and you can approach life with confidence and positive expectation. It's a zone. And I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I find myself getting into a zone. And this is good. If I'm trying to develop a life for myself, I need to find those zones. There's times where everything seems to happen. Everything is very clear. I can understand it. So many times I'll take something that I want in life. It might not be clear, but I give it time and I work it. I study these things and I put things into action in my life. And all of a sudden I get into a zone where everything becomes clear. Everything seems to work for me. There's days in my life I wake up, I'm in a zone, where everything I feel like I say, everything is hitting its target. It's going after different areas in life. Zones are very, very powerful, and we create this. We create that. We get ourselves in an atmosphere that things can happen in. And all of a sudden we create a zone. I know sports figures look for zones. They look for opportunities. Golfers, I've read sometimes when they're in a zone, the hole looks like it's the size of a bushel basket as far as putting on the green. See, I can't miss. I'm in a zone. I develop confidence. I develop faith. I just got to hit that golf ball, and it seems like because I'm in that zone, everything is going for me. And some golfers every day, sometimes when I'm on the on the golf course, I'm with my buddy Art, and I'll say, hey Art, I says, that hole looks like it's the size of a bushel basket. And we laugh because, a lot of times in our mind, we need to look at life that way. Like everything we're going to shoot after, we're going to hit these things. And that's where a zone. And to be able to really get what we want, we need to develop zones for our life that everything is working for us. But it takes effort. It takes effort. Okay, next point I have is the clearer you are about what you want, the more rapidly you will obtain it. I'm going to repeat that. The clearer you are about what you want, the more rapidly you will obtain it. Yes. When you are absolutely clear about your goals, you will activate the powers of your mind to help you get that. You can make faster decisions in regards to time and resources you need. Successful people have clear strategic plans. That's where the clearer we become in what we're going after, the more rapidly we achieve those things. I am clear. I wake up. What I like doing is asking people what are their goals. I can't tell you how many times I get just blank stares at people when I ask them, what are your goals in life? And then I ask them, sometimes they'll say things, I'll ask them, do you have them written down? I get blank stares. You don't find many people that have written goals down, and it is so important to be able to write down that which you want and make it clear so that you have something to shoot for. You can take the best, I'll say, marksman with a rifle in the world. This guy's got trophies. These guys he's got trophies on the wall. He's won just about everything. He's a marksman. He hits his target. And if I was to go up a guy like that, I wouldn't stand a chance. I might be able to hit the target once in a while, but not like a marksman can. But if you took myself and this marksman and put us in the same room and turned the lights off and asked us to shoot at a target, we would have the same advantage. He wouldn't be able to see the target, and neither could I. And that's where so many people in life are living life with the lights off. They can't see the target. They haven't written down a set of goals to go after. I know Christopher Columbus, great man, supposedly discovered America, and great man. We got a day that we celebrate for Christopher Columbus. But actually, when you look at Christopher Columbus, he had a plan of going to the east, or I should say the west, from the east, going around the world and getting into Asia, rather than having to transport things from Asia back towards the east to Europe. And but he left. But he had really no course charted out, and he didn't know exactly where he was going. And when he got there, he didn't know exactly where he was at. And then when he got back, he couldn't exactly tell anybody where he came from. In life, a lot of times, that's the way we are. We don't know exactly where we're going. And sometimes we achieve areas in life, we don't know exactly what we've all achieved. And when we get done doing this, we can't really tell people where to go to even get this anymore because we haven't charted anything. And that's where creating your future is all about charting. You create a future. You create a future for yourself. You chart it when you write down your goals. It becomes clear and you achieve things much more rapidly. I've got some things going on right now. It's amazing because once I establish them as goals, how things start to come to play. And I won't get into it right now because surely it's my plans right now, but it's amazing how it happens. And I can tell you about one thing that we did. One time, this is probably about 20 some years ago, Shirley and I, we always wanted something like out in the country area, and we wanted possibly some outbuildings, and we wanted a little bit of land. And we used to drive on weekends. So we set this up as a goal. We used to drive on weekends and look at different areas out in the country. And I know one time I went and I looked at a piece of property. I was thinking about building a house. It was in a wooded area and maybe building some outbuildings and stuff. But then one day, my brother and I don't know what the reason was at that time, but I didn't have a car. So we decided at lunchtime we'd go for a walk. And we did that from our workplace. My brother and I, we worked together, Brother Dave. And we went for a walk, and we walked around a country block. It was a big area, and it was right next to the country too. And there was a farm that was for sale, and it was in terrible shape. Farm for sale with a little sign that had a telephone number. I wrote down that number. I went home with that number. I tried to call it. I couldn't get through right away. My wife Shirley picked up the number. She finally got a hold of the individual. Make a long story short, we ended up buying that. And everything came to place. We fixed it up, beautiful place, all Victorian, flower beds, wraparound porch, scrolls. It was beautiful. Fixed up the barn. Everything was just beautiful. We had a great time, many parties with that. But this was a goal. This was a goal, and it fell into our lap. I only took one walk. I only walked that one walk one time, and it was the day that a little sign was placed on a telephone pole, and we purchased that place. I'm sitting there saying, wow, Lord, this is good. This is good stuff. And all areas of my life have fallen together in very similar ways. We've had seminars, we've had dinner nights, we've had different things that we put on. All we did is picked out a date. We picked out a date and set a goal. Many times didn't even know what we were going to talk about, didn't know the theme of anything, but every one of them, we never missed a date. And that's the way goals are powerful. And the clearer you are about what you want and establishing that goal for yourself, the quicker you're going to achieve that. Next point. Okay, putting yourself into the driver's seat in life. Okay, repeat that. Putting yourself into the driver's seat in life. By having written goals, it gives you a sense of control in the direction of your life. You will know and get what it is that you want in life. By having goals, it puts you in the driver's seat of life. It's like, I know I've heard people say, you can have a beautiful car. Beautiful car, you can have an engine, beautiful leather seats, everything. But if you don't have a steering wheel on that car, it is absolutely worthless. And what goals do in our lives, it puts a steering wheel in our hands. We can direct our life. So if we're creating our future, we need a steering wheel. We need goals. We need something, we need a target to shoot at. We need the lights turned on. We need to achieve things in life. And that's where, how intense are you about your future? It all boils down to some of that. We have to be intense. We have to be saying, this is what I want. This is what I'm going after. I will not stop. I will not quit. I'm going to continue to push myself. I'm in the driver's seat. I've taken control. I know the first time I got into the principles of goals and writing things down, it all of a sudden seemed like I had a life. I had a reason. I had a reason for doing what I'm doing. So many times in life, people are just doing. They don't have a reason. They don't have something that they're really going after. They don't have something that really matters, that they have written down and said, this is what I'm going after in life. And to create your future, these are principles that are powerful. The consistency of a purpose. Having a purpose in life all fills into all of this. Whatever God has designed you for, the dreams in your life, these become your goals. A lot of times people will tell me I'm living the dream, and I'm saying, one of these days you're going to wake up. And I laugh a little bit about that, but it's true. So many times we are, we're living a dream, we're in a dream world, but those dreams need to become a reality. And as soon as we can put them on a piece of paper and make them a goal, there is life given to that dream. And all of a sudden, all the forces that our Creator has given us start to work for us to obtain that, because such a day as today is what God has given us to achieve something. And now is our time. Next point, last point, is developing your game on the inside to see results on the outside. I'm going to repeat this. Developing your game on the inside to see results on the outside. You need to develop your inner values and convictions to guide you into getting what you want in life. Without taking the time to develop what you want in accordance to your values could leave you unhappy with the results of your life. Okay, so developing the game on the inside. Okay, when we set our goals, basically we need to set up a series of values with our dreams. What's valuable? What really matters in life? What's going to bring value into my life? And everything I go after in life are based on those values. Because whatever is developed on the inside of me is what's going to happen on the outside of me. And it's important. It's important for me to develop good things inside, to go after proper things that are going to be valuable to me. So it's not only knowing what I want, it's also, and getting what I want, but it's also knowing what is valuable. What is it, something that's going to really, at the end of the game, is going to give value to my life. And a couple questions I ask myself is, and this is what people say, why? I have to have a big enough why in my life to go after anything. And so many times the why is not big enough. And most people say, why? I share some of this stuff with people and say, well, why? Why do I even want to bother myself with this? Well, there's going to be a point in life where you're going to be kicking yourself and saying, why didn't I? Why didn't I take the time? And you can probably look at things right now in your life. I don't know where you're at, but things in your life right now where you might have said, why didn't I take the time? I know right now I'm trying to establish things that in my life that I could have done many years ago and I did in some form or fashion, but I didn't have a big enough why. and I've reached a point in time in life where my why is bigger. So now I'm doing it and starting to see improvements in different areas. That's where we have to have a big enough why. And another thing I always say, especially when I read the Bible and I get into different things in life, I see people doing things in life, I say, why not? Why not? Or why not me? What is it that I need to do? I need to create my future. And that's why I encourage you to know what you want, to do the things that matter, and to get these things in your life, to establish something, to establish a goal that you're going after, to turn the lights on your life so you can see the target, and in a daily basis, try to put something into your life that's going to be something at the end that's going to say, I have achieved that which I've gone after. This is what I feel my purpose is. And don't get me wrong, God could change that. But what happens in life, I believe we need to be going after something to give God an opportunity to possibly redirect. But if we're not going after, we're not establishing the principles to achieve, we are going to lose the greatest opportunity of life that God has ever given us. And I want to finish up here with some action exercises for you. And these are, if I can get to these are, oh yeah, here they are. Okay, action exercises. These are for homework for you to do at home. And number 1, determine your vision of your ideal future and lifestyle. If your life were perfect in every way, what would it look like? So to be able to, I want you to write this down, but be able to write down on a sheet of paper what the vision of your ideal future and lifestyle would be. And if it was perfect in every way, what would it be like? What would a perfect life for you that you've established in your life, be able to write that down? Number 2, list 10 goals that you would like to see accomplished in the next year or 2. Write them in a tense as if they were already accomplished. Okay, so take 10 things. If you can only come up with 5, write 5. Only come up with 2, write 2. Things that you'd like to see happen in the next year or 2. Write these things down and start setting goals for yourself. I know myself, I've got major goals, but then I've got mini goals. Every day I've got action items that are mini goals that I want to achieve. Taping this session is a mini goal that I have for today. So I go through my mini goals of trying to obtain the big goal. And that's why I want to encourage you to do this in my action item number 2. Action item number 3, select one goal that would have the biggest impact in your life if you'd be able to achieve it. Okay, so look through your goals, things that you want to achieve, and pick out one that you're going to go after. It doesn't have to be huge. It could be something small, or it could be just an action item for tomorrow. Write it down and go after this and achieve this. Check it off, saying, wow, because what it does, it builds faith inside you, builds faith in who you are, and it creates a process of achievement, of getting that which you want in life. And number 4, take action immediately on your goal. Do something every day and never give up. Immediately. Don't let this program end without an idea of something that you can do right now and put it into action, because this is where goals, this is where ideas, this is where purposes die, is with inaction. So the quicker you can put something through, and the quicker you can get into your mind that you never give up. This is a decision you make. And the word, as we mentioned before in the Latin, decision means cutting off all opportunity. All opportunity to quit is cut off. I've made a decision to achieve something. I want to share a story with you in closing here. It is a story, it took place in October of 1968, a long time ago. Mexico City Olympic Stadium. Okay, there was a marathon, a 26-mile marathon. There was a man named Stephen Akhwari from Tanzania. And what had happened in this story was 26 miles. They ran for 26 miles. They ended up in the stadium where the crowd was. And when the winner came through, there was great celebration and there was great excitement. And, people were just going through all kinds of celebrations and stuff. And as time went on, the bulk of every one of these runners came through, and whoever was behind these guys were patting them on the back. But an hour after the race, there was sirens and police cars coming up. There was one more runner, and this was Stephen Akhwari from Tanzania. This guy here early in the race, he had fallen down and he had injured himself, and they bandaged him up, and he got up on his feet and he continued running in a hobbled way, and he ended up finishing the race an hour behind. He ran around the track inside the Olympic Stadium an hour after the first place person won that race. And the newscast came up to him and says, "Why, Stephen?" He says, "Why did you continue? I mean, you obviously wouldn't win this race. You obviously would probably end up in last, which is what you did. Why'd you do that?" He says, "My country, Tanzania, didn't send me just to start this race. They sent me to this Olympics to finish the race." So he finished that race. And it's the same thing with our lives. God didn't create us just to get a start in life. He created us to finish our life. He created us to create value. He created us to find purpose in our life. And that's where I want to encourage you to take your life serious about creating your future and doing the principles. I want to invite you to come back. And I want to invite you to maybe subscribe to my channel, maybe like this program, because I want to continue this in a good fashion. I'm planning on doing this, and I want to end in a quick little prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the riches that you give us, Lord. And I pray for great blessings on all who listen to this. And I pray that you'll continue to encourage us and direct us, that we can be all that we can be in you. In your precious name, amen. Thank you so much for being with me. Have a great week.